Hi, I'm Sarita Rao, Senior VP of Business Marketing from AT&T. I'm here with Josh Oakes from smartsocial.com. It's good to have you back again, Josh. I know you joined us last year. The team really wanted to understand how do they keep their kids safe on social. So thank you for joining us. As you know, we've seen an incredible change in the amount of online activity in the pre versus post-pandemic world. Here's one of my favorite numbers. We now pass an average of 391.8 petabytes of data traffic on average per day. That is 23,000 texts per second compared to what we were doing pre-pandemic. It's a 20% increase. And obviously that data isn't just text, but I thought the text was an interesting little subtext just to kind of lead into the conversation and some of the skills that you taught our team.
It was so awesome to work with your organization, to train. Last year, we trained parents and especially students how to shine online. Some safety built into it. And we did that for Bring Your Kids to Work Day, which is awesome. And then this year, we taught parents all about how to keep their kids safe. The 7 to 9 major tips on how to avoid predators, the hidden features that no one knows about in YouTube, Netflix, Instagram, Snapchat, and we taught some iPhone and Android hidden techniques in the back end. Your parents were incredible. Hundreds and hundreds of people showed up. So we're so thankful. And you guys are doing great. So what's on the docket for you here today?
I think for me, I've got a couple questions for you I'd love to ask, especially since we can't be physically together. We're being, far more socially together right now. So what is the one thing every parent should know and do?
The first tip that we have for parents is the number one key takeaway is be on every single app that your kid is on. Do not give them access to this Ferrari, this $800 device that you give them without you, A, having the passcode to it. You bought it. It's like a vehicle. You should always have the keys to access it. Number two, you should always have access to every single app that they're on. Remember that when you give your kids this phone, they're going to have 7 billion chances to connect with every single person on earth, right? And they're going to have hundreds, if not thousands of apps. So let's make sure that we are fully knowledgeable and have a healthy dialogue and a healthy knowledge about every single app they're on.
That's great advice. You're absolutely right. Josh, what about us adults? We're all using social more. What advice do you have us? How should we be acting online?
That's a great question. Well, first of all, you don't have to be a robot online. This isn't all about being fake. You can be authentic. But the two words that we remind everybody, whether they're a senior VP of marketing like you, or whether they're just an awesome, hardworking staff member, the two words that we remind everyone is before you post, ask yourself, is this full of positivity and gratitude, this one post? And it's a little bit of a PR check right there, right? The world that we live in now is very dynamic. So we always ask, does it have a little bit of positivity? Like, oh, everything went wrong, but here's how great, how positive it was. And here's some gratitude. Whenever we're doing that, usually it's a sign that, okay, it's a little bit easier to either post that response, that post, that picture, or something else. So positivity and gratitude.
Those are two words to keep in mind, absolutely. So as we all figure our way through this interesting time, what can we do and what can our kids do to keep being productive?
Great question. The number one tip we have to be productive is if we don't have a plan, this turns into a pastime. And that's the number one way for your kids to just eat away at hours and hours a day, and also for ourselves as adults. So a couple tips. Number one, this should have a purpose instead of a pastime. So a couple random little nerdy tips. I have all of my apps bucketed into a few buckets. One is called strengths. So whenever I'm on audible.com, that's a strength because I'm learning, or podcasting, or anything else. Even YouTube can be a strength because you're listening or learning. Another one is weaknesses. Believe it or not, social media can be a huge weakness because it takes a lot of our time. So even though I have them on the phone, because I have to be an expert at these, I put them into a bucket that will remind me, this is a weakness. Warning, when you dive into this bucket, it will take your time and it will not leave you energized. So Audible leaves me energized and all these other things. And that's just a couple adult tips. I have another bucket for business so that I know that we have our email, our task management, our project management, our CRM, and all that stuff is in there. And I know that's work mode, which is good because I'm getting stuff done that's productive. But a big way to talk to your kids about these is to remind them to use this with a purpose instead of a pastime. And one of the things that a lot of parents forget is kids as early as elementary school like to talk about their future career. Ask them, what do you want to do when you grow up? Do you want to be a senior VP of marketing? Do you want to be an astronaut? And when those wheels start turning, all of a sudden now they have a goal. And when they have a goal, then some of the stuff that they might do here becomes less interesting because we start talking about that goal. We get them into the college or a few majors that they want. And then this isn't just filling their time, it's helping them get to that goal. And then you're working with your kids. Hey, we agreed upon the goal that you picked for the career, for the ambition, the purpose, the projects. How do we use this to get you there? What networks are going to help you? Is that anonymous network going to help you where you're just talking to weird people? Or should we get you on to great things where you're going to be able to learn and strengthen the skills that you have? That
is absolutely great. Thank you so much. I am so dependent on the device. I remember the life before the device, and you see how much more productive you are. I love the fact that you're teaching kids and our parents how to use it for good and how to stay focused on using it for good. Thank you so much. I know you're going to be back with us next year because the team demanded that you come back this year. So we're going to enjoy this conversation again, but thank you so much for everything you teach the team. I'm a big proponent of social, but to be on social safely, there's nothing more important. So thank you.
Thank you to everybody listening here today. We're on the smartsocial.com podcast. You can learn more about Sarita and her whole amazing team at AT&T Business. And one thing I want to remind you is to rate, subscribe, and review. Make sure that you understand that we're here to help parents, professionals, and students to make sure that they shine online, to use the internet with a purpose instead of a pastime. Rather than say no and tell kids everything they shouldn't do, let's lay out the groundwork to show them that path that they can use, to make sure that they understand they need to be light, bright, and polite online when they're responding, when they're posting, full of gratitude and positivity. You can learn more at smartsocial.com. Special thanks to our friends at AT&T Business, who over the last couple years have been incredible allies at keeping kids safe on social media so they can shine online. We'll see all of you on the next episode. Sarita, thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. Take care.